A white police officer stops a black judge at the courthouse. But what happens next is unbelievable. Stay tuned until the end of the video to see what happens next in the story. What do you think about this story? As Judge Evelyn Blake was about to be late, she parked her car in front of the Los Angeles courthouse. She glanced at the clock on her sedan's dashboard. With only 10 minutes left until the trial began, her heart beat a little faster. Today was the day she had dreaded but carefully prepared for. Today was the day a high-profile case would be tried that could forever change how discrimination is handled in California. Exiting the car, Evelyn took a deep breath, straightening her shoulders. As an accomplished judge, she had faced her fair share of challenges in the legal profession. But the weight of this case felt different. For her, it wasn't just a case. The defendant, a young man named Marcus Jones, had been arrested in his own neighborhood for no reason. The arresting officer claimed that he fit the description of someone involved in suspicious activity. Sounded familiar. Too familiar. Evelyn walked quickly across the parking lot, her high heels clicking rhythmically on the pavement. Instead of using the main entrance, she chose a side door. Today, the courthouse's main steps were packed with reporters, their cameras ready for the day's story. She didn't have time for the media circus. As she approached the side door, she noticed a young police officer standing guard, his posture rigid and his eyes following her closely as she approached. Evelyn reached for the ID card hanging around her neck, her usual routine before entering the building. But before she could present it, the officer blocked her path. "Who do you think you are? Coming in here?" he barked, his tone aggressive. "I need to see your identification right now." Evelyn raised an eyebrow, indignant. "I'm Judge Blake," she said, holding her card higher for him to see. "I'm presiding over the Jones case this morning." The officer didn't even glance at the card, his eyes cold and calculating as they scanned her from head to toe. "I don't care who you say you are," he said, his tone threatening. "I need you to answer some questions." Evelyn stared at him for a long moment, trying to process what was happening. The irony was suffocating. She was about to oversee a trial about discrimination, and she was being discriminated against right at the courthouse door. "Officer," she said, her voice steady despite the rapid pounding of her pulse, "I don't have time for this. The trial starts in less than 10 minutes, and I need to get inside." She held out her card again, hoping he would just take a look and realize his mistake. But the officer didn't budge. His hand hovered over his belt, near the handcuffs clipped to it. "I don't care who you say you are," he barked, stepping closer. "You're coming with me." Evelyn's breath hitched. This was escalating quickly. She could see the look in his eyes, the kind of look she had seen too many times. A mixture of suspicion and contempt. Not because she was a judge, but because she was a person being discriminated against. Before she could say anything, another voice cut through the tension. "What's going on here?" Evelyn turned to see an older officer approaching, his face a mix of surprise and concern. "Blake?" His eyes widened as he recognized her. "Judge Blake?" "Yes," Evelyn replied, her voice tight. The older officer shot a look at the younger officer. "Stand down," he ordered, his voice firm. The younger officer, still angry, reluctantly took a step back. "That's the judge," the older officer snapped. "Do you know that your words could land you in jail?" The younger officer stepped back completely. Sergeant Davies immediately handcuffed and detained the younger officer. "Your behavior is unacceptable. I'm reporting this to your superiors, and I'll be requesting your immediate suspension." "Who do you think you are? Stopping a judge at the courthouse door? Do you know what you've just done? This is blatant abuse of power, and I won't tolerate it. You'll be held accountable for your actions." Evelyn forced herself to take a deep breath. She had to stay calm. Losing her temper would only play into the hands of people like him. "Are you all right, ma'am?" the older officer asked, his voice softening. Evelyn nodded, though her jaw was clenched. "I'm fine, thank you." Without another word, she turned and entered the courthouse, her heart still racing. The familiar, sterile hallways greeted her with the comfort of routine. But as she walked, the scene outside replayed in her mind. Evelyn entered the courtroom, her heart still pounding. She knew this wasn't just an isolated incident. It showed that racism still existed, even in places where justice was supposed to be served. Inside the courtroom, all eyes were on Evelyn. She struck the gavel, ordering the trial to begin. The defendant, Marcus Jones, a young black man, was accused of assaulting a white police officer. This case had attracted public and media attention, reflecting the pressing issue of racial discrimination in society. Marcus Jones's testimony moved everyone in the courtroom. He recounted in detail the police's ill treatment, beatings, and humiliation, all because of his skin color. "I was just walking home," Marcus said, his voice trembling, "but they stopped me, asked for my papers, and then started hitting me. They said I was trash, that I didn't belong here." The prosecutor, a middle-aged white man, tried to justify the police's actions. He claimed that Marcus Jones was a thug, a danger to society. "The defendant has a criminal record," the prosecutor said, his tone contemptuous. "He resisted arrest, and the police were forced to use force." Evelyn sharply questioned the prosecutor, exposing his lies and bias. "Do you have any evidence that the defendant resisted?" Evelyn asked, "or are you just relying on the police's testimony?" The prosecutor stammered, I have the police report." "The police report? From the officers who beat the defendant?" Evelyn asked. "Do you think we can trust them?" Richard Holt, the officer who arrested Marcus Jones, also appeared as a witness. He tried to justify his actions, but his testimony was contradictory and unreliable. "I was just doing my job," Richard said. "He was a suspect, and I had to arrest him." Evelyn sternly questioned Richard Holt, exposing his lies and racism. "Do you think you have the right to beat someone just because of their skin color?" Evelyn asked. Richard Holt was silent. Marcus Jones, the defendant, sat there with a look of utter resentment. He glared at the police officer and the prosecutor, as if he wanted to tear them apart. "They said I was trash," Marcus repeated, his voice full of hatred. "They said I didn't belong here. But I was born here. Grew up here. I'm an American citizen just like them. Why did they treat me like that?" The prosecutor shrugged, looking at Marcus Jones with contempt. "He's a criminal," he said, his tone dismissive. "We have to protect society from people like him. People like him only bring trouble to society." Marcus Jones scoffed. "Protect society? Who are you protecting? You're just protecting racists like yourselves. You think you have the right to treat us like this just because we have a different skin color. But you're wrong. We won't be silent anymore. We will fight for our rights. We won't let you trample on our dignity." Marcus Jones's words caused a stir in the courtroom. Some people nodded in agreement. Others shook their heads in protest. The prosecutor smirked, looking at Marcus Jones with a challenging gaze. Evelyn struck the gavel, ordering everyone to be silent. "We are not here to argue about race," she said, her voice stern. "We are here to find the truth. And the truth is, the defendant Marcus Jones was treated unfairly. We cannot tolerate such racist behavior." After hearing the testimony from all parties, Judge Evelyn Blake delivered her verdict. "The defendant's actions are unacceptable," she said, her voice stern. "The defendants abused their power, violated Marcus Jones's civil rights, and severely damaged public trust in the legal system." Judge Blake sentenced Richard Holt, sentenced to 5 years in prison for assault and abuse of power. Other officers involved, sentenced to 2 to 3 years in prison, depending on their level of involvement in the assault. The prosecutor, disbarred and prosecuted for obstruction of justice. This verdict sent a strong message to society. Racist behavior and abuse of power will not be tolerated. Evelyn walked out of the courtroom, her eyes resolute, full of hope. She knew that the fight against discrimination was far from over. But today, justice had been served completely. This story is a powerful reminder of the existence of racism, even within the justice system. Judge Evelyn Blake bravely faced injustice, demonstrating the strength of perseverance and courage. Marcus Jones, with his moving testimony, exposed the brutality and injustice he endured. This story urges us not to remain silent in the face of injustice, but to stand up for justice and equality. What are your thoughts on this story? Let's spread this message by liking, sharing, and commenting your opinions below. And don't forget to look forward to more meaningful stories from us.